We are so thrilled that you're here today to celebrate our Home Together campaign with us. And for those of you who don't know, this campaign spans from April to May this month, and it pays tribute to our donors, our clients, and the heartwarming stories that unite us. And we do this through weekly live online events on our Facebook page, kind of like the one you're tuning into right now. And some of you might be listening to a replay of this episode, which is equally as awesome. So if you're tuning in live, please know that you can also catch a replay of all of our events on the Street Dog podcast. Today's event is part of a digital storytelling journey that celebrates the profound bond between pets and individuals experiencing homelessness. Our Home Together campaign really empowers our clients to share their experiences of receiving free veterinary care from the Street Dog Coalition. So, all throughout this month, we have a series of live events that, for the most part, puts the microphone in the hands of our clients. And specifically this month, we are featuring stories and interviews with a lot of our Bay Area clients, which makes today's conversation even more exciting. But before I reveal what today's conversation is all about and who I have with me, I want to let you know that our big week of giving is right around the corner. I don't know how it's May, but suddenly it's May. Our big week of giving is from May 25th to the 31st, and our goal is to raise $50,000 from our amazing supporters to continue our mission of providing free veterinary care to pets of people experiencing homelessness. So, if today's conversation really resonates with you, please go ahead and click the link in our show notes or go to bit.ly/ Home Together 2024 and play a part in helping to protect the bond between pets and people experiencing homelessness by giving us a donation. And most importantly, I should say that our friends at Pretty Litter, a renowned health monitoring cat litter brand, I love Pretty Litter, will be matching all donations up to 15K this month. So please donate today to double your impact. And without any further ado, I am so excited about today's episode for many reasons, but mostly because I have my partner in crime, or my partner in compassion. Let's say compassion,
Yes.
compassionate crime.
Yes. Love that.
We have Dr. Hilary Wheeler joining us today. Not only is Hilary our medical director, but Hilary is also the co-team lead of our Bay Area team. So this is really exciting because last week we had a client from the Bay Area joining us. We chatted with Reggie about Reggie's experience working alongside Hillary when Reggie needed veterinary care, and Reggie loves Hillary and loves Andrea, our co-team lead in the Bay Area as well. So this is really exciting because what Hillary is going to do with us in this conversation today is really give us a glimpse into what clients like Reggie and other clients that we'll be having on this podcast later on this month will be sharing with us what they experience as they are moving through our street clinics. And I should let everyone know that our main priority, if you will, at these street clinics is to not just make sure we take care of the pets of the individuals who are coming and seeking, veterinary care, medical advice for their animals, but to really empower our clients to make sure they feel seen and felt and heard, and that they have the tools and the resources they need to take care of themselves, to take care of their animals, and so that they feel comfortable coming back to future clinics so we can make sure that their animals continue to receive the care that they deserve. So that's really going to be the lens that we view this episode through today. So before I start asking you questions, Hillary, what's up? How are you? How's your day going?
My day, this is just a day in the life of Dr. Hilary Wheeler. Usually a lot of putting on different hats at the last minute, but that's what we do. We pivot and we make it all work. I'm here at the clinic today, seeing patients, and then also joining in with one of my favorite people, which is you,
It's
Miss Daria.
me. It's
I
me.
love being on the podcast. So, of course, I was excited to be a part of this conversation. I especially love talking about our clinics and how I got started with the Street Dog Coalition, which really was just as a veterinary volunteer and starting a team in the Bay Area back in June of 2020. So it's fun for me to continue to do that every month. And we love sharing stories of what our clinics are like. So I'm excited to talk to our Facebook community today, and hopefully we'll get people who chime in with any questions as we go along.
Yes, and thank you for that. Please, I want to encourage everyone who's tuning in live. Ask Hillary your questions, share your comments, maybe share some of the experiences that you've had as either a client or a volunteer at one of our street clinics. This live aspect of our podcast is truly my favorite. I love chatting with everyone in real time. So don't be shy. Don't be shy. Please be as frisky as this cat on my lap, who in a moment is going to growl and run away from me, because we just that's her love
That's what they
language.
do. It's
Her
what
love
they
language is just the middle finger.
do.
It's fine. It's fine. I have a teenage cat. It's
That's right.
pretty typical.
I was gonna say that sounds familiar, having raised two teenagers, now young adults. Yes.
And I'm sure if my mom happy early Mother's Day to you, Hillary.
Oh, thank you. That's right.
Yes. I
Oh,
I was
yeah.
gonna say, I'm sure if my mom was sitting in this room right now, she would be looking at me like, "And how do you like it? How do
Yeah.
you like
Payback.
it?"
Payback.
Exactly.
That's right.
So, Hillary, can you share with us some so I know that for some of our listeners who might be new to our world, we are in over 60 cities across the country, and every single one of our pop-up street clinics in these cities, they're all run by volunteer veterinarians, vet techs, social workers, all that. Just a beautiful medley of people, and they're all a little bit different. So I know, Hillary, that you're going to kind of be shining a light here, specifically on our Bay Area street clinics. So, can you share with us some key aspects of the Bay Area Clinic that caters specifically to the needs and experiences of street dog clients?
Yeah, absolutely. And we always like to say, even though we're the Street Dog Coalition, we see lots of cats, and we have even seen the occasional bunny rabbit. A potbelly pig once came to the Bay Area clinic. So
I've
I always like
heard.
to be inclusive
Thank
of all the
you.
cats out there, especially, but really any of these animals that are brought to us, we always try to do whatever we can to help. And really, a lot of it, honestly, is about education. And one thing that really drew me to getting involved with the Street Dog Coalition is I remember reading that it was all about quality over quantity. So my very first Street Dog Coalition clinic was in a parking lot, I think next to a church, which was June of 2020. So really the only place that would even allow us to be present. And I think 5 people showed up. Reggie was one of them. That's where we first met, and it was a weird time, and we were all wearing masks and trying to do social distancing, but really trying to make an impact. And it really was amazing to see how you could still connect, and that filled my soul just as much as it did, I think, for everyone who volunteered and the people who brought their pets. But we have grown, and so, as you said, all of our teams are different in the way they do their clinics. I actually love that. As a medical director, I get to hear all about that and kind of compare to what we do. We have it pretty dialed in now at the Bay Area. I am so fortunate to have amazing volunteers that continually keep coming back. And now they really do so much of the heavy lifting when it comes to helping to organize all of our supplies, even just the coordination of where we host our clinics and getting the word out to the community. And we're really grateful to our community partners. As you know, Street Dog Coalition, one of our core values is unbridled collaboration. And that's really, we rely on our partners in the community so much to not just allow us to do our clinics, but to provide more services for those who come. But we really love, I always think about it as we're there to take care of the animals and provide veterinary care, but we really are there to also be a point of contact where we can really talk to people and give them space to share their stories and give them space to tell us about the relationship they have with their animals to the degree that they're comfortable, and to make sure we create an environment that feels welcoming. And so for us, it's things like putting out dishes of fresh water for the dogs, making sure there's seating for the people that come. We learned that early on because, as I said, we were in a parking lot sitting on the ground. We started buying benches and tables and creating areas where people could wait comfortably, getting more pop-up tents so there's shade in the warmer months, bringing water and coffee. Coffee is the elixir of the gods when it comes to Street Dog Coalition clinics. We all are fueled by caffeine, but I remember thinking just those small things. I had so many people that were coming with their pets that were so overjoyed to know we had creamer and sugar to put in the coffee. So little things like that can brighten your day, and it's so simple. So now I always show up with my, big coffee travelers and everything that anyone might need, and including plant-based options for creamers, which, we
Thank
know
you,
that
Queen.
speaks to us.
Thank you,
Yes.
Queen.
Yes, always. But whenever we can, we try to partner with groups that might be able to provide a meal or provide food of some sort for the people. And we also collect donations for the animals and the people. So we kind of have a whole layout where we've got a check-in area, but we have a seating area. We have volunteers that go and just make sure people are comfortable. Do they need water? Making sure animals aren't overheating if they are waiting. Sometimes there is a wait if we get a lot of people that show up, depending on the day. Making sure that the cats are in a separate area from the really excited barking dogs, because we know cats don't appreciate that. And sometimes it takes the veterinary workers to recognize those things, that this cat's probably going to get stressed. We actually have a camping tent that we set up at our clinic, and we put it in a shady spot off to the side, and we actually bring the cat carriers to that area, and we put seating there so that they can be in a little bit quieter space. And when we do their exams, we're in a contained space where it's safe, and we can actually let them roam around a little bit and get a little more comfortable before we do our exam and do any treatments that we're there to provide. Um, our check-in is wonderful. I have a co-team lead, Andrea, who's really done an amazing job of getting to know each person, because a lot of people come back. All of our teams do a minimum of 4 clinics a year. In the Bay Area, we do monthly clinics. So we go around to different areas, but the fun part of that is we get to see people coming back, even when their animals are doing well and they're healthy. It's just an opportunity to check in and make sure that there aren't any new questions or concerns. So a lot of it for me is just, again, create those little things that really help people feel comfortable and safe and cared for. And then they're going to be more inclined to trust us to take care of their animals. And we really go above and beyond to ensure that the person stays with their animal at all points when they're walking through our clinic. And when I say walking through our clinic, for us in California, we're fortunate to have pretty good weather year round. So almost all of our clinics are outside, and we just have pop-up tents for shelter. And what that looks like is they come through the check-in area. That's where they talk to our volunteers that are getting whatever paperwork is needed. We get a weight on the animal. We just kind of hear their story of any particular concerns. Do they need vaccines? A lot of people if they are lucky enough to find shelter that allows them to have their pet with them, that animal has to be up to date on rabies vaccination. And so that becomes a priority, is identifying those things. And then finding out a little bit about the lifestyle of what are the things that animal might be exposed to, especially with dogs. We know sometimes at some of the encampments, there can be bodies of water. There might be other diseases that are more unique to those areas. So that helps us come up with our plan. And then one of our veterinary technicians or assistants, everyone's a volunteer, will actually walk with that person and bring them over to where we have our station that are the medical stations. And that's where the person is going to be right there with us as I do my exam on their animal and make sure that I know what the temperament is and what personality quirks. You know, we know all of our animals have their own ways of expressing themselves. You were just saying, Daria, your cat does not appreciate being at the vet. Well, as you can imagine, we have plenty of animals that feel the same way about us, even though we're all really nice people. We don't take it personally. And so some of it is identifying that. We actually have the ability to give a calming or anti-anxiety medication
Oh, nice.
early on during the clinic, and then have them just go sit in a quiet area and let them just get an opportunity to kind of wind down a bit, reduce some of that fear and stress, and then have them get examined once we see that they're feeling a little bit more relaxed. So we're really lucky that our volunteers all really know how to identify those situations and to bring them to my attention. And then we can come up with a plan, because we always want to do whatever possible to ensure that we can care for those animals and for their people whenever they come. And so they stand at the medical station. Once we're doing our exam, we talk through all the different things that they can share with us about that animal, any concerns they may have. We come up with a plan together of what vaccines, what treatments we are recommending, and make sure that people feel very informed in the decision making of what we'll be doing, rather than an assembly line like a vaccine clinic, where we really work hard to make sure our team leads know that that is not our priority. Our priority is absolutely to provide the care these animals need, but do it in a way that's compassionate and that's comforting and individualized. So that person should feel like they are seen and heard and have the opportunity to ask questions and get their questions answered. So we try to spend as much time as we can. We know that sometimes if we have a lot of people, that means we may have to move things along, but we have really skilled veterinary technicians and assistants who can help with answering some of the common health questions that people may have. We also provide flea, tick, and heartworm prevention to every dog, and flea tick prevention to cats that need it. And that goes home in a little baggie. We actually have one of our volunteers made baggies with the Street Dog Coalition logo on it.
I love it.
She did this on her own, just
Really?
decided that there was a better way to do it so things could stay contained. She made pre-made labels even for the flea tick medication, so that everyone would know exactly how to apply it, how often to apply it. I mean, just amazing to me. What I love, and I always want to acknowledge those people, is our volunteers. They are the backbone of the Street Dog Coalition, but it's so beautiful to see them continually come back, but then come up with their own ideas of what might be special and what might make things a little easier for the people and the animals that come. And then we make sure at the end that they have everything they need. We make sure we go through the medical record with them. We actually usually have people, if they do have a phone, we have them take a picture, because we take those paper copies and we usually upload them to the Google Drive that we all live by. And that way, whenever we're contacted, which we often are, by anyone in the community, if they found an animal or they're just contacting to check the vaccine status, we can access that information immediately. But we always find a way. We've had times where people need the paper copy, and so we just find a way to make sure they get whatever they need and they know when they need to come back. but also how they can reach us. And a lot of our teams do have email addresses that allow clients to email us with non-urgent questions, and we will go out of our way to make sure that we can respond to those inquiries. And some of these animals need follow-up care. So we try to, if we have that ability, we try to coordinate that with our community partners. And that may mean dental care. We were just talking about anesthetic dentistry and how it does get very costly, but it is a very critical component
Yeah.
of health. And we know for us too. So that same thing applies to animals. So we try to talk through all of that. And we don't always have the ability to get those procedures done, but we do always have the ability to talk about what people should be watching for in their animal that might be an early warning sign of something changing in their health, in which case we absolutely want to see that animal again and reevaluate and determine if there's a different plan that we can take with them.
Hmm.
Yeah,
This
so
is
that
so,
it's very open and warm
yeah.
and welcoming, and I mean, we love it. We love seeing, we actually have a lot of our clients will actually help us unload the truck when we arrive and help us set up and help us put everything away at the end of the day, because there's so much gratitude flowing at that point. But that's always amazing for me to see the faces coming back, and they know the drill. They get everything all set up to make it easier for the volunteers to do what we're there to do.
And so it sounds that I honestly felt like I was there just in your description, which is
Love that.
literally the entire point of today's event. So thank you for that. And it's very clear that the layout and the design of the Bay Area clinic, as you know, we can safely say for all of our other clinics, is just really tailored to creating a welcoming and empowering environment for our clients. And I feel like this typical client journey that you've really walked us through here ensures that clients feel respected and heard and valued throughout their time at the clinic. And, we have a bunch of people joining us live, which is really exciting. John Mark said, it's the little things that make a major impact. John Mark is also singing your praises in the comments.
Oh,
And we have another listener or another audience member, Susan, who is curious to learn more about whether or not we are in Louisiana. I want to encourage Susan and anyone who is listening to this to please go to our website, thestreetdogcoalition.org, and you can check out our menu. You'll see list of teams, list of clinics, and we are in Louisiana.
we
And
are in New Orleans.
we are in New Orleans. So I want to encourage you, Susan. Thank you so much for asking. Please visit our website, check out our teams across the country. It's safe to say that we do have teams. I feel like anywhere where you could want a team, we're there. And if there are veterinarians listening who are on our website who see that we do not have a team near them, by all means, please reach out to us and we can
Yeah.
help you start a team and give you all the tools and the resources you need to make sure it's a successful one. So, I really, there is one other question I want to ask you, Hilary. And it was a question because you have so just casually, amazingly answered every question I had in one response. Because you are an icon, a legend, the best guest ever. In all seriousness, I think you did an amazing job at communicating how and why we treat our clients with so much dignity and respect, from creamer in their coffee to making sure their cats have a safe place away from dog confrontation, which
Yeah.
makes me really happy because sometimes I've gone to other vets in the past where I'm like, "Can someone move this Rottweiler like but just 2 inches away from
Yeah.
my cat's face before I leave here
Yeah.
and my cat like has 80 other stress related issues that I now need to get her medication for." But anyway, I wanted to share with you a question that I know you're gonna love. And uh, John Mark said, "Hillary, you just walked me through your comprehensive plan for your clinics. This is so wonderful." And I think
Oh,
John Mark's question that he shared is worth spending our last 5 minutes talking about. John Mark said that the unhoused environment in the Bay Area can be really depressing to
Yeah.
experience. This
Yeah.
his exact words. And John Mark said, "What in-service training do you provide to your volunteers, which you've mentioned throughout this episode, your volunteers and your staff, in terms of how to deal with their own mental health in order to engage with such a sometimes depressing environment in the Bay Area? How do we make sure that we are not all burnt out, struggling with compassion fatigue? I know that this is right up your alley.
Yeah.
What kind of guardrails do you have in place?
Yeah, we're fortunate at the Street Dog Coalition has put together so many resources that allow our team leads to access those and share them with their volunteers. And that includes trauma-informed approaches to care and storytelling and that aspect of it, but also the mental health support that we need to ensure that we're not suffering from compassion fatigue. And here, John Mark, I love this question because this is where my mind was blown. When I first started this, I thought, oh boy, I'm going to have to get myself ready. This is going to be incredibly difficult and sad. And it was actually the complete opposite. I found myself at a time when the world had turned upside down and my life at the veterinary clinic at my practice was so incredibly stressful as essential workers trying to figure out what to do next from day to day, week to week, that when we did our Street Dog Coalition clinic, the feeling that sense of you're no longer helpless, you can actually be a part of the solution. And then also having the opportunity to talk to people that were unhoused and still to this day, for them to be able to tell their story in a safe and trusting environment and to be able to share that moment of connection and gratitude. I actually went home feeling more recharged than I did going in. And what's amazing to me is for the most part, that's almost always what I hear from other volunteers, both in the Bay Area and across the country. That being said, we try to really make sure and encourage our teams to check in with one another. And if there are some clinics don't go as well as we would like. And we try to regroup after the fact of what went well, what can we improve upon, what really do we need as the providers to ensure we're taking care of ourselves, and also what can we do better to ensure we're taking good care of the people and their animals. So there are a lot of resources that we actually have that we can share with volunteers. I think you mentioned, Ari, at the beginning, a lot of our teams do work alongside social workers. And
Yeah.
these days, a newer field in social work is veterinary social work, which is amazing because there's been such a need for it for so long. And so that's actually a goal for the Street Dog Coalition going forward, is to
That's
actually have
right.
someone on staff that has that training that we can have as a source of information and support and other resources for all of our teams. But in the meantime, we've been fortunate enough to have some of those people at different teams across the country, and they are always so giving of themselves and willing to help. And that may mean scheduling a Zoom call, and just talking about, hey, I'm really having a hard time and I need to talk this through, and what can I do to ensure I'm taking care of myself so I can continue taking care of those who need me. So I've really been amazed that it's rarely been an issue. And our team has gone into the encampments, and John Mark sounds like he's pretty familiar, but there's a lot of despair in some of those areas. And we've taken our street medicine truly on the road, and we have a wagon that we just roll with us with the basic supplies that we need. And honestly, even that, it took a little while to get people to trust that we were not there to take their animals away
Sure.
or to separate them in any way. But then it was just incredible. And honestly, what the love language was again is we had hot coffee, and people started coming out, they started congregating, they started asking who we were, what we were there for once they realized we were there just to provide veterinary care and that was it, and really not force anything on them. Just with here's what we have, and we're happy to help you if you would like our help. And that was to me, those have been some of the most amazing experiences I've had. And again, rather than feeling depressed at the end, I actually felt like this was something good and we were able to provide something that was not there, and we know
Mm.
we'll be going back and continuing to help. In fact, we met a woman that had said she had a tiny little kitten that had been roaming the riverbank in one of the encampments, and that kitten now was part of her family, and she was doing her best to take care of it, but she really had no supplies. And we realized we didn't have litter boxes, we didn't have litter, and that's what she needed. We had food and we had vaccines, but our volunteers went and did a donation drive and we got the supplies. We got a list of what she needed and we brought it back. And we actually just saw
Wow.
her recently. She's now in a temporary housing situation. She was living in a tent in pretty dire circumstances, and now she's in a temporary housing facility. That cat's now an adult cat, and she's doing great. And it was so amazing to see her doing well, see her kitty doing well, to know that we made that impact early on. So we usually kind of, it raises us up a bit and gives us that recharge that we need. But you're right, Jean-Marc, we do need to watch out for the signs of compassion fatigue and really try to address them and talk about it as early as possible so we don't face that going forward.
Such a great response. Thank you, Hillary, and thank you, John Mark. John Mark loves the concept of veterinary social work. Yeah, it's a really beautiful intersection of, I think, something that the veterinary world is missing and something that the social work world is missing. And what I'm noticing, Hillary, is that the through line here is this idea of like anticipation and empowerment. So
Yeah.
because of your experience, not only with Street Dog Coalition clinics, but even in your own practice,
Yeah.
you have this sixth sense, if you will, where you're kind of able to anticipate some of the questions, some of the concerns, some of the needs that not only these animals will have, but their guardians will also have. And same with the volunteers. I know that you have
Mhm.
done so much service throughout your career that you at this point can you can kind of anticipate what might lead to burnout, what might lead to compassion fatigue, and what won't lead to burnout, and how to really pause and reflect on the impact that you're having, and to kind of feed off of that and feel the positive energy of that. So I just wants to thank you not only for your time today on this podcast, this event, but for giving us a glimpse into what it feels like to move through one of our clinics and to feel seen and heard and felt and supported as both a client and as a volunteer by the Street Dog Coalition. And I genuinely think it takes someone like you who has the skills and the expertise and the ability to kind of intuit the needs of others based on your own past experiences. um, and I just think that's the recipe for success when it comes to empowering our clients, empowering our volunteers, and making sure that our clients and our volunteers are able to be there for one another and communicate in circumstances that are sometimes kind of high pressure, very
Yeah.
high pressure, if you will. I know you have a very busy clinic. And I just
Yeah.
want to thank you, Hillary. I want to thank you for your time today. I want to thank you for everything, for being the absolute best. And we as an organization, I know Katrina, who will surely be listening to this episode as she always does,
Hey,
is,
Katrina.
"Hey, Katrina." Uh, like she's Oz.
Right.
Uh, she
Well,
she
she
and I,
kind of is.
she kind of is. She kind of is. She and I both truly, truly love and admire and respect you and the work that you
Oh,
do. And we spoke with Reggie last week, one of your clients, And in the coming weeks, we'll be speaking with Peggy, we'll be speaking with Iris,
Oh,
two amazing individuals as well. And it is no surprise to me that when we were looking for clients to feature, the Bay Area clients were all just like anything for Hillary. Anything for the Street Dog Coalition. The Bay Area clients are showing up and showing out. And Hillary, that has so much to do with you. And of course,
thank
with Andrea,
you.
our team lead as well. So I just want to thank you again so much for coming on the pod today. I know you have a busy afternoon ahead of you, and you'll be back in a couple weeks for
I
our roundtable
will.
discussion.
Yes,
I
I'm
can't wait
looking
for
forward
that.
to it.
That's
Yeah,
gonna
well,
be
thank
awesome.
you for having me. This is one of the best parts of the Street Dog Coalition is getting to do this podcast and of course talking about what it is we actually do. And
Yeah.
I'm glad we did get to paint that picture for people that may not have ever been to a clinic of how we try to do things. And yeah, it is checking in together, and it takes a village, right? We all need to support one another. And what I love is even though we have over 60 teams, the internet is an amazing thing when it comes to still being able to connect. And we do Zoom meetings with other team leads. We share ideas. We support one another when we've had a hard time and we're trying to find our way through that. But I love you mentioned Peggy as one of the Bay Area clients because she is one of the people. She shows up and she and her daughter start unpacking the truck and helping us get set up and carrying giant bags of dog food and all of it. So yeah, she's great. She started coming early on and we've been able to care for her animals through the years. And it's so wonderful to see those familiar faces and see her doing well.
Yeah, I can't
Yeah.
wait to connect with her. Even I spoke
Yeah.
with her briefly on the phone, and she was just such a joy and such a
Yeah.
light. And Hillary, thank you. I can't wait to see where this month takes us.
Yeah.
Client Empowerment Month is a really exciting opportunity for us for almost like the first time ever to just really focus on our clients and uplift their voices. And I think it's especially important because so often individuals experiencing homelessness are not given the microphone. They're not really given the opportunity to share their own stories in their own words, and oftentimes I find myself sitting here thinking, like, well, who am I to share this story on this individual's behalf? So I want to thank you, Hillary, for giving us a firsthand look into your experience at the Bay Area Clinic. And I want to encourage all of our audience members to join us next week, where we will be giving our client Peggy the opportunity to talk about her experiences receiving services from the Street Dog Coalition. And I think the best way to get a real behind the scenes look at our clinics is to join us as a volunteer. So
Yeah.
if you are listening and if you're curious to get the full effect, the full experience,
The
please check
helping
out
high.
the helping
You
high, if you
too.
will.
You too can experience the helping high.
I love that. Yes, the helping high. Please go to our website, thestreetdogcoalition.org. You can check out all of our teams. There are so many different opportunities to volunteer, and we're always looking for people to volunteer, whether they are veterinarians, vet techs, social workers. We have had people at our clinics giving out free haircuts. We
Yep.
have had people at our clinics, like myself, just taking pictures and smiling and waving because I am not a veterinarian and I cannot cut hair, but man, can I smile and wave. So there are so many different opportunities, you name it, we've got it, ways for you to get involved. Hillary, I really appreciate your time today. Thank you so much, and I can't wait to connect with you again in just a couple weeks, if not sooner.
Oh, well, thank you for having me. Yep, I'm looking forward to being back. And thank you to everyone who was able to tune in today or hears this afterwards. If you have questions, you can always reach out to us. We love talking about what we do and getting more people involved.
Thank you, Hillary. Until next time.
Until next time, mwah.
Adios. Mwah.
Bye.